Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. This motion we are considering today is not something that we take lightly. And believe me when I say I take no joy in adding my voice to the voices of my colleagues from the Conservative and NDP parties in asking for the Minister of Defence to resign. Despite the fact that we serve in different political parties, it is not hard to respect the courage and commitment to Canada shown by the Defence Minister. For 28 years, he served with the Canadian Forces. His service record speaks for itself, and the honours he has received speak to the high esteem his colleagues and superiors held him in. This is why I honour his courage, his dedication, and his valour on the battlefield. However, Mr. Speaker, we are not here to debate the Defence Minister's military service. We are here instead to debate his ability to lead the men and women of the Canadian Armed Forces. The only question that is relevant is whether or not the Minister has the confidence of those whose lives depend on the policy choices he makes. In this respect, the answer is clearly no. Mr. Speaker, the greatest anger, outrage, and betrayal has come from those brave men and women who served in Afghanistan. It goes without saying that anyone who served in Afghanistan put their lives on the line for Canada. Whether you were in the Green Zone in Kabul or forward operating bases in Kandahar, there was an imminent threat you could be killed by the Taliban. The valor and courage with which Canadians served in Afghanistan brought honor and distinction to Canada. We owe them a debt of gratitude. They are our heroes. Every society from the dawn of civilization has celebrated military acts of courage, immortalizing the heroes who performed such deeds, whether it was individual acts of heroism on the battlefield or ingenious innovations for strategy or technique. Which is why in military culture, the idea of stolen valor is such a taboo. When our men and women in uniform perform heroic acts of service, they deserve the full credit for their deeds. Our entire military honors system is based on recognizing individuals for actions that go above and beyond the call of duty. The Defence Minister has rightly been recognized through this system for the work he did. But when people take credit for the work of others in order to make themselves appear more important, they are attempting to erase the acts of valor their brothers and sisters in arms undertook. This is why this deception, as acknowledged by the Minister, matters. By claiming to be the architect of Operation Medusa, the Defence Minister sought to receive the full credit for the work of an entire team of senior military planners. As one of the key intelligence officers in the region, he rightly has been recognized for providing invaluable intel that assisted those planning the operation. But to take credit for being the master planner, that steals credit from officers much more senior than himself, including officers from other nations. This stolen valor is not taken just from Canadian troops. It is also taken from our British and Australian allies, which reflects poorly on Canada as a whole. Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Defence has yet to explain why he has, on multiple occasions, made this false claim. The two highest profile examples took place first in the 2015 election campaign and then in a recent speech in India. In both of these instances, the Minister was embellishing to improve people's impressions of himself. The first time was in the election when he was speaking with local media in order to make himself appear more important to those people that might vote for him. The second instance was when he was speaking to an audience in New Delhi, representing Canada abroad. He clearly was more interested in his ego and reputation than the facts. He knew it was untrue, and now he has had to apologize multiple times for both the deception and the damage it has done. This is, unfortunately, a growing pattern of deception and loose treatment of facts by this minister. The minister's word in the House of Commons has been contradicted by his officials in multiple instances. The minister told this House our allies in the Middle East weren't concerned with the Liberals when the Liberals pulled our CF-18s from the fight against ISIS. Briefing notes that have come to light since show our allies begged Canada to stay in the fight. The minister told this House that the previous government had not provided tax breaks to armed forces members in Kuwait who were part of the battle against ISIS. This was also contradicted by an order paper question the minister himself signed. The minister has repeatedly argued that Canada faces a capabilities gap when it comes to replacing the CF-18s. This is also contradicted by public testimony of our Air Force officers in charge of our CF-18 squadrons. The only conclusion that makes sense is that the minister has given up accuracy and truthfulness in exchange for political expediency. It is no secret that the Prime Minister and the Liberal Party do not respect our military. The Liberal approach to our armed forces has consistently demonstrated that they believe their political strategists know best, even when they are recklessly putting our men and women in harm's way. This must be an incredibly uncomfortable position for the Minister of Defence to be in. His entire career was based on serving his brothers and sisters in arms. Now he is the one who has to tell them, with a straight face, that what this Liberal government is doing is in their best interests. So it is no wonder that he has decided to play fast and loose with the facts, because the facts don't support the Liberals' approach. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Defence has lost the confidence of the men and women he is accountable for. They do not trust his ability to fight for them at the cabinet table. Their trust in him as an honourable soldier has been shaken. Given the uncertain global climate we find ourselves in, we need a defence minister that Canadians have confidence in. The minister's loose treatment of the facts casts grave doubts on his ability to manage this important department. And Mr. Speaker, don't take my word for that. Take the words of a retired colonel, Ian Barnes, and I quote, the defense minister's claim that during his tour in Afghanistan in 2006, he was the architect of Operation Medusa is preposterous. The minister has shown by his actions that he is an embarrassment to Canada and is not suitable to hold the position of Minister of National Defence. He should be removed from office. These are the words of a retired colonel, and we've heard many other words from veterans and retired members of our military service. For these reasons, this House has lost confidence in this minister's ability to do his job. The only honourable course of action is for this minister to resign. And we on this side of the House call him to do the honourable thing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.